Very welcome to our next lecture of non-destructive testing. This is Salman, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, ISL Engineering College, Hyderabad. In last lecture, we were discussing about ultrasonic testing. So we will be continuing with that lecture. So yesterday we have seen about contact transducers. So what is contact transducers? We have already discussed. So it is having two piezo crystals, in which one will be used for sending the signal, another will be used for receiving the signal. Most of the time we generally use dual elements which are employed for the thickening edges of thin materials. Another type of transducers is angle beam transducers, in which the signals will be sent through an angular path. So we have discussed that we can send we can able to detect the flaws or holes present in a material by sending angular beams, which will be ranging from 30 to 80 degrees. In this, the angular incident wedge angle is used with the material velocity to determine the desired refracted shear wave. According to Snell's we already know that sine of incidence by sine of refraction is equal to the nothing but the refractive index of the material that we can able to identify. So the transducers can be used as a fixed or variable wedge angles. Common application is used in weld examination, because in weld what happens means, when you are making the welding will not be through which we cannot able to send a normal wave, so we cannot able identify the flaws. But whereas in weldings there will be flaws present at some angular that can be usually measured. So immersion transducers are nothing but, in this the transducers are designed to transmit the signals, whereby the transducers and the test specimen both will be immersed in some kind of liquid. So generally it is like water, it can be like other fluids, generally we use water. Okay, the immersion transducers are manufactured with some as a planar, cylindrical or spherical acoustic lenses. So when you are using immersion technique, generally what happens in immersion technique is we use some kind of couplants. What is couplant is nothing but when you are sending signals from one medium to other medium, the different mediums will be having different acoustic properties, because of which the absorption of the sound waves will be different from one medium to other medium. If you are not using a couplant, so that mismatching of the the absorption of the sound waves will lead to reach a very small amount of sound waves to pass through the test material. So that can be avoided by using a couplant. The couplant displaces the air which is present around the material, because we are having a liquid and the test material immersed in liquid. So what this couplant will do is, it will try to remove the air surrounded around the test material. After the air is displaced, it will try to absorb the whole sound waves or sound energy into the test specimen, so that the usable ultrasonic signals which you have sent can easily pass through the material. So the while ultrasonic testing is used, generally the liquids which are generally used are oil, glycerin and water. Okay, so through this the transducer sends through the signal, and the couplant absorbs the signal, and it will try to match the signals and will try to send to the material. Okay, so next is pulse receiver. What is this pulse receiver is nothing but the transducers will send a signal. So but whereas some signals will be having some small deviations, when we are having small deviations, this pulse receiver will try to receive all the signal. The pulse receiver are well suited to general purpose ultrasonic testings, along with appropriate transducers and appropriate oscilloscope. Oscilloscope is nothing but which is try to match the oscillations of the transducers. They can be used for flaw detection and thick gauging. Thick gauging, that is nothing but how to identify the thickness of the material. In wide varieties of metal, plastic, ceramics, composites can be identified using this ultrasonic pulse receivers along with the transducer. So the ultrasonic pulse receivers provide a unique low cost ultrasonic measurement capability. Till previous slides we have seen the signal transducer, that is nothing but how the signals are being sent by using a transducers. In this, those signals which are sent by a transducer along with some oscillation, we will be having a receiver which is trying to receive the signals, ultrasonic signals, which are which you have sent through a transducer. Okay, so the specialized portable equipment that are dedicated for some ultrasonic inspection measures are pulse receivers with some scope display in one small size battery operated unit, so which is generally used for a pulse length and pulse energy. The pulse energy or pulse length is nothing but the amount of time the pulse is applied to the transducer. So how far the transducer has sent the signal, how much time it has taken to reach the receiver. Similarly, the pulse energy, how much amount of energy the pulse receiver has initially sent and how much we have received. So generally the pulse receiver will the pulse circuit will be having a voltage of around 100 to 800 volts. Okay, the next instrumentation which we generally use in ultrasonic equipments is nothing but deflowmeters, flow meters, and industrial and some special application flow meters, which are used to identify the flaws. Just like your CRT screen, there will be meters by using which we can able to identify the defects, or these are the meters by with respect to which we can identify how much the flaw is present. Okay, the test equipments can be classified in number of ways that may be included as portable or stationary or contact or immerse or manual or automated. Okay, so these are D-meter, that is nothing but digital thickness gauges. So the D-meter or digital thickness gauges instruments provides the user a digital numerical reading output will be sent to you. Some devices are there in which they, along with the CRT screen, where they can able to measure the reach. There is nothing but the analog signal as well as the digital signals will be present. For example, here you can see this is your analog signal, sorry, digital signals, whereas this in here you can see the analog signal as well as the value of the reach. Okay, so they are designed primarily for corrosion erosion inspection applications. Some instrumentations provide the users with both digital readout and a display of the signal. The distinct advantage of these units is that they allow the users to evaluate the signal to ensure that the digital measurements are the desired features. Calibration standards. Calibration is about how you are going to calibrate both the values. So the calibration is an operation of configuring the ultrasonic test equipment to the known value, calibrated. Okay, so with some standards we are calibrating. For example, you see some weighing machine, a traditional weighing machine. One side he will be having a 1 kg stone, other side he will be having the vegetable, fruits, everything. So he is calibrating your vegetables with some standard, and that standard is your 1 kg stone. Similarly, in ultrasonics also we have to calibrate the devices with some standards. So that calibration standards we have some devices. So this provides the inspector, that is nothing but the person who is trying to measure, with some means of comparing the test signals to the known measurements. Calibration standards comes in a wide varieties of materials and configurations due to the diversity of inspection application. Calibration standards are typically measured from materials of some acoustic properties as those of test articles. So the calibration standards generally we have flat, curved, circular, hole surfaces are present. So distant or area amplitude standard utilizes for flat bottom hole or single drilled holes to establish known reflector sizes with some changes in sound path. Okay, the calibration standards, there are also some calibration standards for the use of angle, single beam. So these are for angle, single beam, etc. Okay, which are non-parallel devices can also be measured. So next is qualification standards. Qualification standards are nothing but these are different from that of the calibration standards, in that their use is for the purpose of varying the proper equipment operation and qualification of the equipment using some special codes and standards. Now the data interpretation, whichever the data you are going to get from your output device or calibration device, those things has to be studied. Okay, so that data interpretation, how you are going to study. If you are getting some value, for example in your UTS machine you are going to get some value. So how you are going to identify that value and what is the data which you are interpreted from that variation which you have obtained in the dial gauge. So how you are going to study, how you are going to calibrate, what is the data which you are going to study from that. So similarly for ultrasonic testing, whichever the information which you are going to collect from the output device, those things has to be studied by using some data interpretation, which is going to be done by 3 different techniques, that is A scan, B scan and C scan. So A scan is nothing but with respect to that of the time. A scan presentation displays the amount of received ultrasonic energy as a function of time. For a particular amount of time, how much amount of energy has been received. So the relative discontinuity size can be estimated by comparing the signal amplitude to that of the reflector. Okay, so how much amount has been reflected and how much has been received. So this is the initial with respect to time, how much you have done, so how much it has to be received, how much has been lagged with respect to time. So that can be studied. The reflector depth can be determined by the position of the signal on a horizontal scale. Okay, so the next is B type scan. In this B type scan, we don't have the the whole variation with respect to that of the origin. So but whereas you can see the variations which has been observed as this. So the B scan representation display a profile, so only the outer profile will be shown. Okay, so only the reflector depth in the cross section and the linear dimensions can be determined. The limitation of this device is if this the display technique is that the reflector may be masked, means that can be closed, and reflector near the surface cannot be easily studied. So the data presentation for C scans. So the C scan presentation displays a plan type view of the test specimen and the discontinuities. The C scan presentations are produced with an automated data acquisition technique such as immersion scanning. Use of A scan in conjunction with C scan is necessary with the depth determination is desired. When depth determination is desired, for example, this is the C scan. So with this you can able to only see that there is some hole. Along with A scan, we can able to measure how depth the hole is. So if you measure like this, you can able to only analyze that there is some kind of hole present, the flaw is present in that. But how depth the flaw is present, that you cannot able to identify using C scan. So for that you have to combine A scan as well as C scan to identify the depth of that. What are the advantages of ultrasonic testing? The sensitive to small discontinuities, both surface and subsurface, can be studied by using ultrasonic testing. So the depth of penetration, that is how far the flaw is present, that can be studied by using this method. The only single-sided access is needed when pulsed echo technique. Yes, we have studied that. So the underground pipes, I have given example. The underground pipes are there which cannot be, the receiver cannot be sent to the other side. So one-sided receiver and the sender can be kept, and we can able to identify the flaws present in it. High accuracy in determining the reflector position and estimating the size and shape. Minimal part preparation is required. The part need not to be prepared, whereas in liquid penetration technique and all these techniques we have seen that the part has to be prepared, that is the small rust particles which are present on that, we have to remove all those things. So those are all not needed in ultrasonic testings. The detailed imaging can be produced with automated system, has other uses such as thickness measurement can be done, because when you send the signal from one part to the other part, when it touches the other part and come back, so basing on that you can able to calculate the distance. Similarly this the higher end, that is nothing but after ultrasonic testing, that is infrared rays or radar signals, which generally we use in study of the submarine, study of the distance between your airport and the the aircraft. That is generally by done using the radar signals. So the lowest type is nothing but the ultrasonic testing. So highest is nothing but the radar signals. Okay, so the limitations is the surface must be accessible to transmit the ultrasonic sounds. The skill and training must be extensively given to the person who is going to study. The unskilled person cannot be able to identify the flaws. Okay, the person who is doing this test should be highly qualified. Okay, the normally requires a coupling medium to promote the transfer of sound waves into the specimen. The couplant which you have seen that it tries to remove the air surface around the material, so that the whole acoustic sounds can be sent through the material, test material. The materials that are rough, irregular in shape, very small, exceptionally thin and not homogeneous are difficult to inspect. Okay, so the cast iron and other coarse grained materials are difficult to inspect due to low sound transmission. So in cast iron what happens means there will be large amount of holes. When you cast the material, obviously there will be creation of small voids, everything. So because of that voice the sound cannot be able to transmit, because every for few seconds there will be some small holes which tries to avoid. We know that the vacuum will try to avoid the sounds. So because of that it causes a lot of difficulties to study in cast iron, and we need some high signal noises are required. So the linear defects oriented parallel to the sound beam may not be detected. So the reference standards are required for both equipment calibration as well as the characteristics of the flaw. Yeah, for before going to the study of ultrasonic testing, the calibration of the devices has to be done, and how the flaw has to be set, that has to be characterized first. Then only we can be able to go. These are the drawbacks of ultrasonic testing. So with this we can able to end our third unit. So in next class we can able to start our fourth unit. Thank you.